everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so happy that you are here today. Today's video is super important. We are going to be breaking down every medication I took 1 month post-transplant. I got my transplant back on October 17th, and on November 17th, I'll have officially 1 month. Medications won't be changing until the following week of my 1 month. So let's break down everything all the way from day 1 to now. But before we continue with this video, I want to quickly introduce myself for anyone that is new here. My name is Cindy Flores, and here on my channel, I share my kidney transplant journey, as well as health and wellness videos, travel, lifestyle videos, and so much more. So if you are new, definitely consider subscribing. Now let's begin. I took on day 1. As you know, before going into surgery, they usually require you to stop any blood thinners. However, I wasn't on anything, so I didn't have to worry about that. And after midnight, they most likely don't want you to eat or drink anything because, of course, you're having surgery. So I was advised not to eat anything past midnight. However, they did tell me not to take any of my medications that I was currently on. However, they wanted me to take my blood pressure medication. So I did take the day of my surgery, my hydralazine and the carvedilol. Those were the only two. When I got there to the hospital, of course, they started the IV. I got everything prepped for surgery, and then I went back into the OR. After the OR, of course, I was waking up in the observation room, and that's when the medication started. The first medication that I received was fentanyl for pain medication. By the way, I won't have the dosages for some of these because I just can't remember, but I did receive fentanyl for the pain. I also took solomedrol, which is a strong steroid to reduce inflammation and help prevent rejection. Because they are also giving a ton of other medications, this is just going to help your immune system fight a little bit better, if that makes sense. I also did take antibiotics. I'm not quite sure the name of it, but it was an antibiotic through the IV. I'm not sure, like I said, and I don't want to give you guys a false name. And that just basically helps protect against any infection while you're being immunosuppressed. I also got a treatment of the thymoglobulin, which is an IV medication that helps suppress your immune system right after surgery to prevent your body from attacking the new kidney. So I did get a total of 4, I believe, because I was reading over. I thought I had only gotten 3, but I was reading over the notes, and they also gave it to me the day of surgery, right after surgery. And of course, I also received fluids, which I did get a lot of fluids. Now let's hop into day 2. Day 1, we got most of our medications through IV. Day 2, we did both IV and oral. So the first ones that I took through my IV were the belatacept, which I'm pretty familiar with this medication because I do receive it once a month from my previous transplant. It was one of my immunosuppressant medications, so I'm pretty familiar with it and how my body reacts. It handles it pretty well. I don't have any side effects from that. I also got another treatment of the thymoglobulin. I also got more fluids, and those were the IVs. Orally, I was taking Tylenol as needed. I was taking an iron supplement, which is called phosphorus sulfate. I also took the Myfortec, 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills at night. I also took nystatin, which is basically an oral rinse. It's to help prevent thrush, and they really wanted to make sure with all the medication and just my immune system being suppressed that I didn't get any thrush on my tongue. So taking that 4 times a day after a meal and waiting about 15 to 20 minutes to drink something after. I also took a multivitamin, and basically it's just to help replace nutrients during surgery and the recovering process. I also took a stool softener. I took Bactrim, which is a form of antibiotics to help prevent certain infections. I also took Valsite to protect against CMV. And this is basically a common virus that can happen to transplant patients. So they just want to make sure to help any antiviral infections that could possibly go on. I also took vitamin D3, and I was taking this before as well. I also took my sodium bicarb, which is to get that CO2 number up. And some of these, like the sodium bicarb, I was already taking before surgery. Also calcitriol, I was taking that as well. I was doing that before surgery and they just continued on. Also, I took prednisone right after surgery as well on day 1, and it was 40 milligrams, and I was doing 40 milligrams for a whole week, and then we tampered down and so forth, which I'll tell you guys as the video goes along exactly what I'm currently on. As you guys can see, it doesn't look like I skipped a meal. I can definitely see the moon face moving and definitely like climbing and making its way a little bit puffier and stuff, but this is just what you got to go through, unfortunately. And I stopped completely blood pressure medications because at this point my kidney was working, it was working great, that I no longer needed those medications. So they did have parameters though to make sure if the number, the systolic number went higher than 190, that they wanted me to take my blood pressure medication. However, I think it only happened like once or twice that I had to take it. Other than that, I was pretty fine throughout my stay until now. And then I also took lidocaine patches, and they put this over my incision, these lidocaine patches, which helped a lot. Also oxycodone, I'm sorry I forgot to mention that, was the pain medication. It was given to me every 6 hours as needed, so I would try to spread it out and really try to avoid it as much as possible. Now for day 3, there wasn't really much any changes. I basically was taking everything from day 2. In addition to that, they did reduce the type of fluid solution that I was taking because at this point they had overhydrated me and I was getting fluid in my lungs. And then also on day 3, I did not receive the belatacept infusion. Now day 4, things began to stabilize a little bit better. However, my phosphorus levels did drop significantly, so they were required to give me basically all the medications that I listed for day 2, except the belatacept, of course. I didn't take the belatacept, but they gave me the phosphorus pills as well as phosphorus through the IV, and I was no longer receiving any fluids. Fluids were completely cut off, and I was just responsible of staying hydrated orally. Now for day 5, IV was finally out. I did receive my last treatment of belatacept in the hospital, and I stopped no phosphorus IV. Still continued with the phosphorus pills, still continued with everything else. I removed the oxycodone, we stopped with the Miralax, and we stopped with the stool softeners because like I said, I had diarrhea. Everything the same, so my Fortec, the prednisone, the nystatin, the Valsite, the Bactrim, all of those I continued. We continued with the sodium bicarb, the calcitriol, no more of the blood pressure medications. We were taking the multivitamin, so those continued. Then after discharge, they sent me home with a ton of medication, but I only took the ones that I needed. So I did not take the oxycodone, I didn't take the stool softener, I didn't take the Miralax, I didn't take any of those because I didn't need it. But I just took everything else. And then everything stayed the same, and I've been going to see my doctor every week, and we have done a belatacept treatment since I've been out of the hospital. So in total, we have done 3 belatacept treatments. I'm going next week to receive another belatacept treatment. So basically 4 treatments in the first month of being transplanted. And then we've continued with the MyFortec. We've continued with prednisone. I'm currently taking 15 milligrams. I just dropped down from 20 to 15 yesterday. And I'll be on this 15 for another week before we tamper down another 5 or 10 milligrams, who knows. I'm so excited to just be done with prednisone. It really bothers me physically as well as mentally because nobody wants to have the swellingness around their cheeks. You kind of start to lose sight of how you actually look in some way. But we also continued the phosphorus pills. I did end up dropping those phosphorus pills 2 weeks post-transplant because I was able to get majority of my phosphorus through my nutrition. So we took that for about 2 weeks, and of course it can all vary depending on your labs and how they're looking. Everybody's completely different. I didn't have this issue the first time around. My phosphorus and potassium were always pretty stable. Lately, they've just been on the lower side. Also, we continued with the multivitamin. We continued with the iron supplement. Also, famotidine. We continued with the famotidine, the Bactrim, the Valsite. All of those medications we continued. right now, honestly, I haven't had any side effects from what I feel. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty confident. I feel like my body is handling these medications pretty well. The only thing that I can really see the change is with my face, just being on the prednisone. Another thing, I think because I'm on a higher dose of prednisone, I can for sure feel some of the insomnia that comes with prednisone, so that can be a little bit challenging. But other than that, I'm feeling great. I'm so excited that I'm 1 month, almost 1 month post-transplant. I'm stoked. I'm like, can't wait to see how else my body's going to change, hopefully for the good, for the better. Also, I wanted to mention my creatinine is 0.9 right now, so yay, cheers to a good creatinine. And then also I went with my hemoglobin being on the very low side right before surgery. I believe it was around the 8, and now it's at 11, which is super good. We're now technically in range. I think anything before or above 11.4 is in range until like 14. So I'm at 11.5, and shoot, I'll take it. Anything, right? So I'm super excited. I'm so grateful. I feel blessed. I feel honored. I'm so like happy just with how everything's going, how the process, how I'm healing, and how my body has been taking it. So I'm not taking right now too many medications. I want to say like probably about 10 pills. To go down the list one more time, I'm taking my Fortic, I'm taking prednisone 15 milligrams, I'm taking Bactrim, I'm taking Valsite, I'm taking my multivitamin, I'm taking my iron supplement, and I'm taking famotidine. Those are basically it. So 7 medications, and of course the Belatacept that I have to go in, and that's about it. However, we are gonna drop some more medications in about a week. Hopefully when I go see the doctor, we'll see what they remove. I've been staying on top of the blood work. My blood work is all looking great. I actually went yesterday and everything looks so good. So I'm so excited. I'm so happy, and I ask that you guys can continue to share this journey with me. If you guys have any questions about anything that I said in regards to medication or how I'm feeling or how you guys are doing, I love interacting with you guys. Please leave a comment down below. Share with me your story. Let's talk. Let's connect. Follow me on Instagram if you're not following me on there. Send me a DM. Let's become friends and let's encourage one another on this walk and on this journey, because I know it's not easy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you have a blessed and a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.